A short while back, the council organised a get-together down at the community centre to discuss the future of our town centre. They hired a couple of urban designers to run the event, so we dropped down to check out the shoes.
And don't believe us yet that it's not an imposition, but it's a matter of investigation, and this is your ball game, and I'm glad you're here.
What has happened is that we have formulated a proposed district plan, but we are always open to new ideas, and I'd like to make it quite clear that the way we've regarded this area is kind of temporary, in the sense of having something in place until this community, not us, but you, decide what it is you want.
Are there other questions that are appropriate to the whole group? Yes?
It seems as though it's large business manipulating people to live and work where they can control them.
We think of ourselves as urban designers, but we don't just urban design because we don't think we can presume to come into a place from the outside and do it on our own.
Conventional suburban development is based around the car, it's based around hierarchical road systems, and it's based on long travel distances to do many of the things we do by segregating.
We were walking around the centre of Newland and we were noticing, for instance, industrial areas that don't necessarily these days have to be all industrial, but in graffiti-covered industrial areas coming right up next to the retail, for example, and also sometimes abutting residential. It's quite possible to affect much more compatible mixed use by how one use abuts or actually meshes, blends, filters with another. And we need to be able to investigate that with stakeholders because it's your place, not ours. And we need to be guided by the stakeholders not only about what they think they want, but also what they know. And that's why it's so important to have the public interaction.
I think another issue which is very important to people who have found themselves caught up in conventional suburban development is that they often complain about not having a sense of place or identity, not having a heart to their community. And this is particularly so when the heart is simply a standalone shopping centre owned by a private developer. And there's no real town, there's no real place to gather. And those people say to us in the interactive process, we want to re-establish the heart of town. We want to actually find a place, a village, a centre, and certainly much of what we do through new urbanism or sustainable growth management is to try to re-establish a real sense of place and identity for communities to develop. We find that the physical connections, particularly for pedestrians, are really very poor. It's often difficult to cross the road. There's often blank walls and bushes lining footpaths, which makes it very unsafe, particularly at night, to walk along. There's often large areas without any shelter from verandas for them. And you've got many areas where there's no on-street parking, so you've got fast-moving traffic whizzing by right against the footpath. And that really gives an impression of an unpleasant and unwelcoming place for pedestrians.
I heard things about infrastructure. I heard things about the economic communities. I only heard of one workshop for people, that's for young people. I think that we need to focus on the needs of people because in the end, that is what this is about. The balance between us as people and the environment within which we live. Kia ora.
We want to have places made beautiful. I respect, honour the eco-city principle, but I do want it to be a city that we can afford to live in. Wonderful developments are already costing us a lot of money, and already the level of our rates are such that some of us can no longer afford it.
For people here, it's your place to decide yourselves.